I got up for a glass of water to think this next one through, and that is when I saw it. The 6-foot coyote by the door is currently wearing my jacket. I did not do that. I took the jacket off last night, went to hang it up, could not find a hook, and apparently at some point Maxie draped it over the coyote's shoulders like the two of them were headed somewhere formal. It has been there all night. My good charcoal jacket, the one I wear to face the world, hanging on a dead animal she bought as a joke. And I stood in her kitchen just now, water in hand, and looked at it for a long time, longer than a jacket on a coyote deserves. Lesson 3. Commingling. In finance, there is a very specific, very serious concept called commingling. It is what happens when you stop keeping two accounts separate and let the funds mix in a single pool. The moment you do it, something irreversible happens. You can no longer cleanly say which dollar is whose. The assets lose their labels. Two books become one book, and you cannot unmerge them without a forensic accountant and a lot of pain. For most of my life, that word meant danger. You never commingle. You keep your book clean, your position separate, your name on your own assets, so that when the counterparty defaults, and in my experience the counterparty always defaults, you can walk away with exactly what is yours and not 1 cent less. That is not paranoia. That is just how I was raised. In our house, everything was commingled against your will. Your time, your energy, your safety, all of it got pulled into the parents' account and spent on their narrative, and you never saw it again. So Mira and I learned to keep hard walls around what was ours, label everything, trust no shared pool, and now my jacket is on her coyote. Here is what I noticed, standing in that kitchen. We have only been seeing each other a few weeks. We are not merging anything real. There are no joint accounts, no shared lease, no signatures. What is commingling is stupid, tiny stuff. A book of mine on her shelf, my charger in her wall, a coffee mug I genuinely cannot identify the owner of anymore, and my jacket on a dead coyote. That is the entire portfolio. Mugs and a charger. And watch what my nervous system does with it. The old system is quietly screaming. It says this is how they get you. You are commingling. You are letting the walls down. And the second your life goes into a shared pool, you lose the ability to walk away clean. When she defaults, and the old code is certain she will default, you will not be able to separate your assets from hers. Over a charger. My wiring is running a full counterparty default scenario over a phone charger and a coffee mug. That is the tell. When the fear is that loud over stakes that small, the fear is not about the mug. It is about what the mug means. It means something of mine is now somewhere I do not fully control, in the keeping of a person who could leave. And my whole life taught me that anything you cannot label and reclaim is something you will eventually lose. But here is the override. You do not have to merge everything to be in something. Nobody is asking you to commingle a life after a few weeks. That would be reckless, and I did not survive all of this to overplay a relationship the way I overplayed a poker table. This is not about handing over the accounts. It is about noticing that your alarm system cannot tell the difference between a joint mortgage and a shared coffee mug, and treating both like a threat to your survival. The small commingling is allowed. In fact, it is the point. It is how two people actually start to overlap without betting the whole book on day one. Let the mug be a mug. Let the charger stay in her wall. I am not ready to leave my jacket on that coyote, though. Not yet. So I am going to take it back, because it is early, and some walls come down slower than others. That is honest. The lesson is not that I left the jacket. It is that I finally noticed the alarm was screaming over nothing, and I did not obey it. I have to go to the shop. I am taking the jacket. The coyote goes back to being naked. I'll see you in lesson 4.